And we are back with episode 20, drinking some cold beer tonight with our guest. Actually, our two guests, Abbott Staggs,
Yes.
who's one of our Disney dudes. And Abbott, would you like to introduce our guest?
Sure. We have the Walt Disney World beer guide, the one, the only Rick, and he already came prepared.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, Abbott and Taylor. It's great to meet you. I'm excited to talk two of my favorite things, Disney and beer,
Exactly.
in any order.
Oh goodness. Now there's one thing that I wanted to kind of put out there, and just for the record, Taylor was begging for a wine cooler based edition for the Disney News podcast.
No.
He's more of a Bartles and James kind of guy as opposed to Seagram's. I just wanted to stick to beer. This is not sorry, Taylor. Yep. This is a Paul Anner, their new Oktoberfest. So yeah.
Oh,
So I'm gonna jump in because 'tis the season. Fall is upon us, kind of sort of, really not really not in the South, so to speak. But you got to play the part.
that's right.
So I'm gonna pour myself a beer and get myself ready because Lord knows we're gonna have some fun.
Absolutely.
So cheers to a good podcast. Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Disney Dude Happy Hour.
I like it. So Rick, we normally start off every episode with just a quick, I call it Disney Dudes News. It really kind of changes every single time. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't have an adult style beverage. It kind of varies based on the episode. That's why I tend to ramble. But I will say, Taylor, do you have any updates? Your trip is coming up soon. We're going to learn so much tonight, especially you. You're here like this month, right?
Yes. So in 2 weeks tomorrow, we will be driving down. I am so excited. Excitement does not even describe me right now. I typed up our itinerary. So I'm one of those anal attentive guys or retentive guys, not attentive guys, but
You're attentively retentive.
Yes, I'm attentively.
There you go.
Exactly what you said. So
Ooh, that didn't sound right.
yeah, it didn't. But typed it all up, and so we got everything pretty much line by line what we're doing, and then picking out the Disney Magic Band pluses. I told everybody they need to have them to me by tomorrow, or we'll just buy them down there. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. Awesome. Hopefully after tonight, you can add a few beers to your list.
Exactly. Yes.
Check them off.
Exactly. I'm going to Epcot.
Oh, and it's not just Epcot, because that's the new way to say it apparently after a sip of one beer. But no, no, for me, the only thing that I'm excited about this weekend, I wish, Lord knows, if I could just transport myself straight down to Disney World. My next trip is planned. I always have one to look forward to, but it's always like a century in the future, it feels like. So I'm going down in February. My wife and I do a lot of those Run Disney races.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the half marathon, the Disney Princess half marathon per her request. And so
I love being down there during those weekends because the runners know how to party after a race. They're a lot of fun.
Oh, very cool.
I don't run. I just join the after party.
I'm right there with you on that one.
And when I do run, I'm not running because, I love running.
Yeah.
I'm running to the beer. Okay.
And you
I
get
just
to wear
know
the
beers-
medal.
That's right. That's right.
We know that. Hey, we know the truth, Abbott. You picked the Disney Princess Marathon or half marathon because you're a princess, so it's all right.
We all have an inner princess. Okay.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And when you have the hankering for what you said, like, what is it, your wine cooler power hour?
No. I don't drink wine.
Wine cooler. No, wine. You're right. It's not wine. It's a wine cooler.
I don't drink wine or a wine cooler.
Gotcha.
My grandmother used to.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you made that difference. I know you are, but what am I? Got you. I like the mentality.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyway, this weekend I'm excited. I'm taking my youngest son, my other two kiddos. They could care less about sports. We are huge Panthers fans, despite the fact that David Tepper is, never mind, trying to be Jerry Jones. We're not going to get into that. But we are going to the opening game for the Browns versus the Panthers. Can't wait. Baker Mayfield going to be seeking revenge. Revenge is a dish best served cold on the football field, in my opinion. So,
yeah, you got a good storyline there for sure.
Oh, I'm excited. You know, it puts behinds in seats. It sells tickets, right? So, all that said and done, we are talking about beer. High school beer.
Beer at Disney. Yep.
Beer at Disney. And so, Rick, I have to ask you, where did your love for Disney come from?
Yeah. So I grew up as a Disney kid. Grew up on the East Coast for a while. Went to Disney World. My family lived in California for about 10 years, so I got to visit Disneyland all the time. That was before California Adventure, but you know, my brother and I, Pirates of the Caribbean, that was our favorite ride, so we were on it all the time. Came back to the East Coast, met my wife. She had never been to Disney. So when we had our kids, I said, we're going, you're going to love it. And they fell in love with it. Brainwashed all of them. So my kids are grown now. They're in their mid to late 20s, and they're out of the house. So now I get to do adult Disney, and which is really cool because it is just as much fun for an adult than it is for a kid. And I had all the magical moments with my kids as they were growing up. But back then you could barely find a decent beer. But now Disney, you know, about 10 years ago, it started clicking with the festivals. They're like, hey, this is a good idea to sell a lot of beer and drinks. So you can find it everywhere now, and it's a lot of fun. So now we go as adults and hit all the festivals and go as much as we can, and we're annual pass holders, and it's fantastic. We're having magical moments.
That's awesome.
So what happened is I don't know, there's a social media app called Untapped. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's where you can go in and rate beers and your friends see what you're drinking. And when you go into a town, you can see what they. So I would check in all my beers when I was down in Disney, and I come back, you know, out of the parks with all these beer picks. And I'm like, what can I do with all these beer picks? And my buddy just kind of dared me to start the page. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll start it for fun. And man, once you connect with that Disney community, it just took off, and it's been a lot of fun ever since. And I met a lot of people. I had meetups with a couple folks this weekend, new people I'd never, met before. And so now I'm meeting people all the time from the account, and it's just so much fun. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And see that whenever we started this podcast, and we know we're small potatoes, and we're not trying to, get 10,000 followers, trying to get the most. We do it because it's fun. And I'm posting a brand new picture, and Taylor posts pictures to the account, but we're not there all the time. Yeah. It's because when we go, it means that much. And I'm literally recording, taking pictures, and I've done the adult Disney thing, and Lord knows nothing compares to it. But also, it's a whole different it's a whole different ball game when you're there with your family, making those magical moments. And I thought I knew what the Disney community was until I tapped into Disney Instagram.
Yeah.
And we only post on Instagram. And it seemed like the easiest one because it was with pictures. But once we started posting a few, Taylor, piggyback on this. It just kind of took off.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, I just do Instagram as well because it's easy. And I'm like you guys, I'm just here to have fun. Yeah. And whoever wants to have fun can come along, and I met a lot of great people that way. It's great. Yep. So, yep, I'm in it for the fun. Yep.
Okay. So if you had to pick a favorite style of beer, and we're just talking, we're gonna work our way down from the world of beer down to Disney. We're gonna merge the two. We're gonna meld the two. But do you have a certain style of beer that is your go-to?
I like them all. I'll drink a Pilsner, a lager, a stout, I'll drink them all. But my favorite is a IPA or pale ale. I like a little bite to it. Not a hazy. I'm standard IPA or pale ale. I like a little hop. I like some hops. I like some bite. And that's my favorite. Yep.
Okay. Taylor, what about you, man? If you had a go-to beer on the spot, let's do this. Come on, man. Rack that brain.
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but
I'm preparing myself.
Let it out.
You remember, I'm removed from a fraternity like 7, 8 years ago. So
Yeah.
what was the fraternity drink?
Bud
It
Light.
was Bud Light,
Yeah.
Natty
Okay.
Light, all that stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
still trying to broaden my horizons with beer.
That's what we're here for. We're here to help you.
Yeah, there's a brewery in Spartanburg, South Carolina, RJ Rockers. My favorite beer is probably from there, and that's the Son of Peach.
Yeah.
Abbott can attest to that.
Oh, I can. I live near downtown Spartanburg, and it's like a mile from the house. I'm not going to walk there because I'm lazy. But we probably at least 2 weekends every month we'll go out there and meet with some friends. Just big open. I mean, have you ever heard of a brewery? Rick, you ever been to a brewery? See what they have are no, I'm kidding. No, it's just a big, at least this space, it's just a big open area, ping pong tables, kids can run around. Yeah. It's just a big party, big fun, big community place. And it's kind of just the common denominator for everybody. And that's for me what beer is.
Yeah. No, I'm impressed now with the social aspect of breweries. When my kids were young, he didn't take a kid to a brewery.
No.
And now when I'm there, I see all families enjoying it and everything. So it's changed a lot, especially in the last 10 years for sure. And Taylor, there's nothing wrong with a Bud Light. Let's make that clear.
All right, awesome.
Oh no, my go-to is Coors Light. Like I'm just like sipping on. If I want to drink, if I don't feel like water, then I'll drink a Coors Light because it's essentially water. So beer flavored water in a way.
Yep. Didn't I see with a what are they called?
O'Doul's?
No, not an O'Doul's.
No shame.
A White Claw the other week on here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Drank it before,
some of the, and I believe me, when the pandemic hit and I was getting in supply chain and everything was running out. That's when the hard seltzer market exploded. Now it's going down. It is going down. But that was pretty much all they had. Not for me.
You. No.
Demand is at an all-time high.
Exactly.
When it's low carb, low calorie, and you're in your 40s, for me, you got to watch that salt intake. You got to watch the sugar intake. I don't count calories, but I definitely watch what I drink. Now, this is a very special occasion, right? I do still have to work tomorrow, but for the Walt Disney World beer guy, I'll drink a couple of beers. Who knows? Maybe I'll have 3. But that being the case, I love beer. I love Disney.
Yep.
And my thing is, how did the two come together? How do you actually, when I think Disney, I don't necessarily think beer, right?
Yeah.
At all.
I do. These days, they have transformed into not only beer, but all the mixed drinks and the specialty drinks at the specialty bars. Like they just opened the 220 space restaurant, and that has all the space drinks, an okay beer selection, but a great space drink. So Disney's definitely, you can go be with your kids all day and never see beer, or you can go with, like I did last weekend, with 100 people on a Skyliner crawl, and you can find drinks everywhere. So I think they do a good job of giving everybody everything, but not throwing them together. We're not interfering with the kids' fun. We're adults having fun, so it's a great time.
And you're not losing that magic,
No,
you're not losing. If anything, you're enhancing that magic.
Exactly. I got to ride the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in between beers last weekend, and that was the first time I've been on it. It was awesome.
Oh,
yeah, it was so neat. I got it on twice, which was great. So I got 2 different songs, and I won't ruin it for you. But the first time is disorienting, not because of the beer, but because there's so much going on. You're trying to ride a roller coaster that's turning and everything, and there's a storyline going on. So you almost have to go on it the second time to kind of see it all. But it's a pretty neat ride.
Wow. So Taylor and I were talking ahead of time. Are there any, and this is without me going online, and anybody can easily, we have access to all this information. We can easily Google this, do that. But are there any beers that are exclusive to Walt Disney World?
Yes, there is. In Galaxy's Edge, there is the Gold Squadron Lager, which you can get at Oga's Canteen, or you can get it. There's a little stand near the First Order ship that's just a gold lager Gold Squadron Lager stand. So that's made from the Blue Point Brewery in New York and Long Island, actually. But it's almost like a sour lager. It's really tasty. But it's a Gold Squadron lager. It's named after the gold, the gold wing in Star Wars. So that's really cool. Inside of Oga's, they have a Bad Motivator IPA made by Sierra Nevada, and that you can only get in Oga's. And that one's a pretty strong IPA, but it's the Bad Motivator from the R2 unit that blew up when Luke and his uncle were buying the droids. And they were like, that one's got a bad motivator. So that it's named after the Bad Motivator in the R2 unit. So that's cool. You can get that at Oga's, which is really neat. In Pandora and Animal Kingdom, they have a Pandora Jasmine IPA, and you can only get it at a beer stand. You know where the drums are near the river ride right there? So that one made. Yep, that one's made for Pandora. It's right there, which is really neat. So those are specifically made for Disney, and you can only get them in a couple locations. Everything else is you can get in and out of Disney. So those are the three that I know of that are made specifically for Disney.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep my beer cold. Now, it's not necessarily Disney related. It came from Universal. Oh, there we go. Sometimes
there
it
it
disappears. Yeah, the Duff. And I know that, when people think Duff beer, they think, oh, it's just Bud Light. No, it's actually, Lord knows, I couldn't tell you the name of the brewery, but I know it's a local brewery down in Florida that is made only for, that park, only made for Universal Studios, which to me is wild. You know, that exclusivity is just, it makes it that much more special. It makes it a destination. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's neat. And it's neat that they have two in Star Wars you can get just at the Space Bar, which is cool, at Oga's Canteen. So that's really neat.
Wow. I've been to Oga's Canteen, but didn't know. And we were there for, what is it? Oh, Lord, my memory fails me. Taylor might be able to help me out with this one, but it was the one that made your lips kind of tingle.
Oh, the Fuzzy Tom Tom.
Thank you, Fuzzy Tom Tom. Yeah, Fuzzy Tauntaun. Sorry, not Tom Tom. That's navigation. No, Tauntaun. And we had that. Yeah, my wife and I had one of those. And then the drink that's pink, looks like Pepto-Bismol, but bubbles. And that one threw me off. Yeah,
that's, gosh. I can't remember it right now. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It's got the gold like flakes in it, and it's bubbling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like a rookie.
One of my favorite there, it's strong, and it comes in a little glass. Because I like bourbon, but it's called the Jet Juice. It's jet juice, and it's a bourbon with a few neat ingredients in it, like a chili liqueur and that kind of thing. But it's really cool. It's called Jet Juice. That's a good one.
I've had that one. Excellent. I think we were there with 16 people, and essentially my in-laws and their extensions thereof, my wife and her brothers and their kids, and all that fun crowd. And luckily, we get along famously. They're my second set of parents, but we didn't have a second to ourselves. We stayed at Art of Animation, and the last thing that I was thinking about was, hey kids, let's do a Skyliner bar crawl. Shut your mouths. This is mommy daddy time. But no, honestly, because my mind frame is not there, Emily just kind of surprised me, and she goes, hey, let's go over here. And I'm like, wait, but the kids. She goes, no, they're gonna go with mom. They're there. Let's go to Oga's. And I'm like, oh. And at that time, it was the hottest ticket in town beyond Space 220. There's no way you could get on Space 220. It had just opened up, I think, September, October of last year. And so we were there in November from the transition we went for Halloween going into the first week of November last year. Okay. And so we had the best time, loved it. But the last thing in my mind was beer. And my thing was, I don't know where to get that beer based on the park, Right. And no matter what, if I'm hot, sweaty, and of course, humidity just as well as the two of us combined, even more so. If I'm going to go, and I'm going to challenge you here, okay? This is on the spot. So to me, it would be a challenge, right? With your beer knowledge and your familiarity of all the parks, because I look at your pictures.
All my research.
All your research, all your personally tasted, all my delicious beer, research. Exactly. So if I were to go to, let's say, Lord, let's make it easy for you starting out. If I were to go to Epcot, right? Okay. What And I know that, like, let's say Norway. I know there's a Pilsner style beer in Norway.
Yep, and a dark beer.
Yep. And I know you can only get it in Norway and Walt Disney World. And that made me think about the exclusivity. And I wasn't sure. Like, literally, I was motivated by this question because I didn't know if there was anything that you could only get in Disney World. Okay. But if I were to go to Epcot and I see all these countries, I see all 11 countries in the World Showcase, I'm overwhelmed. And I'm assuming you're Team Mexico as opposed to Team Canada, right?
That is me.
What do I do? You're Canada?
No,
overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. I actually my new starting spot, because we usually come in on the Skyliner, so we're kind of coming in right at Great Britain. So we usually get one there first, and then kind of go to Canada over to. So I'm team like Great Britain now. So we always start right as you get off the Skyliner, right as you get into park. So my wife's a tequila girl, so we do have to spend some time in the La Cava tequila. That's awesome. So the one cool thing that just happened though is they opened the Connections Cafe in the front of the park, where the old restaurant used to be, and now the Starbucks is there. They have great beers on tap, where in the front of in Future World you could never. So let's say we're entering the park, you could usually go find a stand with a Bud Light or something, but now in the Connections Cafe they have like 4 taps. You can get one of my favorites, the Cigar City High Life IPA, which is made in Tampa Bay. So in the front of the park now, new Connections Cafe that opened maybe 3 months ago, you can get nice beers on tap. So the front of the park, we've got beers now, which is great.
Yet again, learned something new. I knew Connections Cafe had opened. The last time I was in Disney was for the last Disney race. The what is it? The surprise spring weekend. Yeah. And we did the 10 miler. My wife and I, Emily. And we, of course, we do drinks around the world, and we're at a point where we have to share each drink. And if it's something like the frozen Kirin, I'm very familiar, we have to each get our own. And there's nothing like it. But
it's unique for sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's beyond belief. I think I have more pictures of that in different filters than I do of my own kids, to be honest. But that being said, the Connections Cafe was still being built, developed. I saw the sign, but of course they had the quintessential like Disney shrubbery, up in front. You're like, I'm over 6 feet. I can see beyond this. But that being said, I had no clue. That's so cool. But if you had to go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that the front of the park now has some great options, which is great, because the World Showcase has plenty of options, but now if you're in the front and you walk in, you can get one right there. It's great.
And speaking of getting one right there, this one, have you ever heard of, and I assume you have because you are the Walt Disney World beer guy, the Highland Brewing. Brewing. Okay, this is their Oktoberfest, the Claw Hammer.
Oh, nice.
We're very spoiled. I met Taylor when his wife was in residency along with my wife. That's how he and I became buddies, fast friends, because you have to commiserate because you become single or a single dad, parent, whatever. It doesn't matter, So misery loves company. And like I said, it's the beer that binds us, so to speak. And Asheville is like an hour away from us.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, when I come to Asheville, we'll have to meet up for sure.
Oh yeah. Anytime. Yeah, we it's a hop, skip, and a jump for us. I usually make it there for a weekend trip at least twice a year. And Taylor and I, our wives, have a conference coming up at the Grove Park Inn. So we're going to be, my kids may be there, Taylor. Just want to let you know. But hey, that's not going to deter.
We'll be there too.
Yes. But you can strap that little backpack you were talking about and like hook her up to the leash, to like the monkey or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll give you something to look forward to, because you guys have a lot to look forward to, a lot of great years with the kids. But in April, for the first time ever, we got our grown-up kids to come down with us, and we drank around the world with our kids. So as they get older, there's magical moments later on in life.
That's awesome.
Things to put on the calendar 15 years in the future. Yep. I like it.
Life goes on. It's not bad.
So Taylor, I have to ask you: is your daughter more of is she going to be tequila, vodka, or bourbon? I'd say
She takes your clothes off, so I'm probably gonna say tequila.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It doesn't. Every other night, it's like she's taking her clothes off in her bedroom. Yeah.
All right. Well, public college for her, just like my daughter. So anyway.
Yeah.
So,
University of South Carolina.
let's go. We got lots of branch campuses. Come on, bring it on. Hey, I'll work on in-state tuition. No, so Rick,
Yes.
back to brass tacks.
Yes.
We talked about if you had a tell me what is your go-to country, and it doesn't have to be a beer. Yes, this is a beer themed episode, but at the same time, in the World Showcase, we're on Epcot. If you had to pick a country, what beer are you going to get, or said drink?
So I will tell you that the new Regal Eagle bar it's the outdoor bar connected to the new barbecue place in the American Pavilion.
Yeah,
that is a winner. They have great beer. They have about 10 beers on tap, and they have moonshine drinks, mint juleps, frozen drinks. That is my new favorite place in the World Showcase, and it's in America, but but that bar is awesome. It's great. They have great beers, great drinks, and it's just fabulous. So that's my new favorite in the World Showcase for sure. Sounds boring because it's in America, but I don't know if that was open when you were there, but it is awesome.
It was. I didn't know about the 10 beers on tap.
Yep.
I have seen like videos where people sample like the beer flight, and I'm like, I've sampled. I probably had like half the beers they've had within those beer flights. So therefore, I'm always looking for. I was on a sour kick for a while. Not really there anymore, but
you'd like that. Don't forget that Gold Squadron lager. You would like that. It's like a sour lager. So put that on your list.
Okay. Come February, we're all about it.
Yep.
So given that, we're going to move on to Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Animal Kingdom's a little bit, still pretty easy. We went, like I said, last year, November. Taylor, you're doing Animal Kingdom, right? Coming up in what?
Yes.
Is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Wow. So if I were going to go, and I was looking at a couple pictures to post to the account, and I think it's at the Satuli Canteen, that the green beer, and I just remember it being wonderful because it was so hot.
It's a refreshing beer. I would say it's not similar to Bud Light. It's got a little bit more flavor, but it's a refreshing beer. On a hot day, it's a good beer for sure.
And what is that called again?
It's the grog. It's boy. It's okay. So right as you exit the Avatar ride, there's a little stand. You can get the beer right there. There's a stand that has the beer right there. It's something grog. It's the green, not green grog, but it's something grog. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. But my go-to spots in Animal Kingdom, and this used to be a quiet place nobody knew about, but Nomad Lounge is awesome. It's right before you enter Animal Kingdom, right before you enter Pandora, right past Pizza Safari. There's the Tiffin's restaurant, and then there's the Nomad Lounge connected to it. And you can sit inside or outside, and they have great appetizers, they have great drinks, and they have a great beer selection. Oh, and that has a beer that's specifically made for Disney. I forgot. It's the Kungaloosh. If you remember the old Adventurers Club that was in Disney Springs, they have a Kungaloosh beer there. It's a brown, like spicy ale, and it's really good. And that one's made just for Disney. And you can get that at the Nomad Lounge, which is really nice. But I love the Nomad Lounge. We'll go there and sit outside and just have a great time. There's also a cool little bar that not a lot of people know about it. It's the Restaurantosaurus Lounge. So over near the dinosaur ride connected to that restaurant, if you go in the back, there's like a tent connected to it's not a tent, but it looks like a tent connected to the building. And it's a little lounge called Restaurantosaurus Lounge. And there's a bartender in there named Jimmy, and he's always in there, and he's the best guy in the whole world. They have special drinks. It's not big. It's like 4 tables. It's just this little lounge in Dinoland, USA that no one knows about. So Restaurantosaurus Lounge, they have great beers, great drinks, and they have a couple hidden secret menu drinks if you ask for the secret menu, which is really cool. Yeah.
Rick, I know I speak for Taylor in this situation. I underestimated everything.
Yes.
Coming into this episode, you are
Teach
taking
us,
us to
master.
school. Yes, teach us. Oh, wise one.
I'm just, I can
Beer
keep
ways.
going. I can give you some more, but those are two. Animal Kingdom, Nomad Lounge is fantastic, and Restaurantosaurus is a hidden gem. But I mean, and Dawa Bar is great. You know, it's right there in Africa before you get on the safari. Dawa Bar is great. The bartenders are there are great. But I'm just trying to talk about things that maybe people don't know about. So
Sure. No.
Yep.
And we, us,
Mhm.
the alleged Disney dudes. You are now the we're not worthy. We're not
Yes.
worthy kind of situation here. But is it hard to get a reservation for the Nomad Lounge? I've been to Tiffin's for dinner, but
Yep.
always seen it, and it always looks crowded. I just assumed
You
that wouldn't even try.
used to be able to go in there. No one knew about it, but the secret's out. So when you go in, you have to, the lounge, you have to get on the waiting list. You have to go on the app and get on the waiting list. So the best thing to do is just go there when it opens, like at 11, just go there and go when it opens. And if you can't get in, you can get on the waiting list. You're in pretty quick. So,
Okay.
But what's cool about the app now is you get on the waiting list, you can go do other stuff, and it tells you to report back. So it's great.
It's cool. Taylor, I mean, I'm assuming you're writing all this down. It's not like we're recording this right now.
Yeah. No, I've got a big list.
Okay. Cool.
But the Restaurantosaurus one, you would be in Dino Land and you would never even know it was there. It's just the restaurant that's there. You're walking towards Dinosaur Ride, and there's this tape, and they put a sign out that says Restaurantosaurus Lounge every day. And Jimmy's the bartender in there. You just go in. It's so much fun. He's a blast.
I think it's the place that Caitlin, like, we all take bathroom breaks right there at it.
It's the bathrooms are right after. Yeah, it's right in the back there. You got it. Yep, you got it.
And I didn't know that it was a lounge at all.
Yeah,
that is
awesome.
Fantastic. All right.
Yep.
Okay, well, I feel like Disney's been holding out on us. You've got to I need like a giant neon sign, like poking me on the shoulder. Get beer here, get beer, whatever. That's amazing. So, man, yet again, we're not worthy. So we've been to Epcot, we've been to Animal Kingdom, and I love Animal Kingdom. It's more laid back, in my opinion. Hottest park, but more laid back. But if we were going to go to Hollywood Studios, I know there are a lot of options, but that's one of the parks where there are so many rides now. It's overwhelming, and you're trying to go. But before that individual that actually has the time, I don't know who that is. Sorry. Present company speaking. Sorry. Whoops-a-daisy. Sorry. No. What do I do? I'm outside looking in Hollywood Studios.
Right. So if you're, like you said, you're running around, you got all these things to fit in now at Hollywood Studios. If you want to spend just 2 hours relaxing, you're going to go right here. It's the Baseline Tap House.
Oh, wow. Got
the shirt on. And there's only one place you can get this shirt in Hollywood Studios, and it's not at Baseline, surprisingly. But anyway, so it's based on a California bar. It's got all California brews and ciders. And they have a soundtrack going when you're there. It's all cover songs, but like easy listening, like jazzy cover songs. And it's California mode. Like everybody's relaxed. The music relaxes you. The beer's good. They have 3 things you can get on the menu: an awesome pretzel with cheese sauce. They have a roast beef puff that goes really well with the brews. And then they have like a cheese and meat plate that is really good too. So you can snack. You can do flights of beer. Baseline. If you want to relax and take an hour or two and relax, go to Baseline. It's awesome.
Sign me up. I'm going to wrestle Taylor to the ground to get there first. Tie his shoelaces together, point to a bird that's not there in the sky. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny.
And it's right next to the Sci-Fi Cafe. So it used to be the old writer's shop. I don't know if you remember the old writer's shop that used to be there, but we love the writer's shop, and we were sad to see it go. And I'm like, oh, well, this is a good replacement. This is a tap house. Yeah, but if you need a place to wind down at Hollywood Studios, it's Baseline Tap House. It's nice. Yeah.
And it's never too crowded. It's kind of off the beat. I mean, there's nothing really off the beaten path, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong at Hollywood Studios, but
yeah, you're right. There's nothing off the beaten path at Hollywood Studios. It's all kind of in your face. Other than like the little gold Squadron beer stand in Galaxy's Edge, which is great. I think people overlook Tune In Lounge because It's connected to Primetime Cafe, and they don't know there's a lounge there. And a lot of people waiting for their reservations are kind of sitting in the lounge, but the bar there is great. They have great like Long Island iced teas, great beer. Your dad's grown up lemonade. It's really good, and the bartenders there are great. So, you know, you don't have. I think a lot of people just see Primetime Cafe and don't go in the lounge, but there's a separate entrance for the lounge. So the tune-in lounge is that's a fun spot too.
And I just discovered that from, it was one of those YouTuber fellows paging Mr. Morrow, right? And he said, I'm going to go to Tune In Lounge while I wait at, you know, sci-fi, not sci-fi. You said, I'm sorry.
Primetime Cafe.
Primetime. So yeah, Primetime. Yeah, Primetime. That's where their big claim to fame is that peanut butter milkshake, right? I think. Yeah. Or PB&J milkshake. That's right. And I was completely dumbfounded, had no idea. I ran by that during the 10 mile that I did at that god awful time of the morning, but yeah, had no clue, and it's connected to Tune In Cafe right there. Yeah. Wow.
Oh well, Tune In Lounge is if you go into Primetime, you can walk right into Tune In Lounge, but it has a separate entrance, and they're kind of connected, but it's a separate lounge, and it's really, really great. The drinks are great, bartenders are great. And the cool thing about what I'm doing now is that there's a lot of bartenders who have been there a long time, and they don't give up those posts. I mean, you get to know the names of all the bartenders because it's a good gig and they don't give it up. So after you've been there a while, you get to know the bartenders too by name, and it's really fun. So
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. So here it is. Ultimate challenge, the final boss, Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
And I know there's an update to Magic Kingdom in regards to, I think they're increasing the cocktail footprint, so to speak, in some regard. But
they were doing just beer and wine. Now they're going to do some mixed specialty drinks.
That's right. Yep. Okay. Yep. Saw that update. See, Taylor, you're in luck. Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
When is that happening?
I think it'll be there by the time you get there.
Yep.
So I think I'm the beer guy, but I'm okay with Magic Kingdom being, you have to get it in a restaurant because you don't need people spilling beer in Fantasyland. I'm not down for that either. You know what I mean? But the nice thing is there's a lot of places to get a drink now. I mean, you got the Skipper Canteen, Liberty Tree Tavern, Cinderella's Table, the Plaza Restaurant. So there's some nice, kind of places that you could, the Tony's Italian restaurant. So there's actually a lot of places you can get it in there, but you got to go in and sit down. So I don't think I could be wrong. I don't think they'll ever open like a bar in Magic Kingdom, but there's plenty of options now to go in and get a good drink. So that's cool. Good. I love Skipper's Canteen. A lot of people don't seem to want, you can always get a reservation. A lot of people, I guess, are scared off because of the menu, but I love Skipper Canteen. The food's great. They used to have these hand-rolled dumplings, though, that were awesome, and they took them off the menu, but the guy said it was just too difficult. They hand-rolled them, like, every day, and he's like, it was just too much work. But they were good. They were so good. So I do miss those.
We had a reservation I've never been to Skipper Canteen. Yeah, we didn't have an issue getting in. And that was the first time I did my research, week before, in-depth research for like 30 seconds. And that's when I discovered Kungaloosh. Kungaloosh. And you were talking about that. And that's where, and apparently it's the secret menu, and there are a couple of secret menu items. They advertised it when we went there. But at the same time, the food there, is it adventurous? Is it kind of out of the ordinary? Yeah, but at the same time, it was good. I had what is it? Chicken, because it tastes like chicken.
Tastes like
because
chicken,
it is chicken. Yeah, exactly. And my wife had some kind of sesame Szechuan spicy noodle dish, so to speak. I can't remember the name of that one. Had a funny name. And but the theming with it, everything about it, that's our new go-to restaurant when we go to Magic Kingdom. But
and if you get a good server too, they make it a lot of fun. So it's a good spot. Yep.
Oh yeah. Very cool. But and I mean, and you can get wine, you can get beer, and I knew that sit down was pretty much the only source, but I would just wanted to see if there is one, maybe some hidden spot, because you're talking about the Tune In Lounge. No clue.
Yeah.
something to that effect. But maybe on your way to, and I just found out about this, and I was telling Taylor about it, and maybe kind of advertising it to you, Taylor, for your trip. Don't know. I think y'all are staying at the Riviera because y'all are DCP.
Yep.
Ooh,
So
that's a good spot.
Yeah, or DVC. Sorry, not DCP. You're out of college.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's been a long night. 1.5 beers, kind of. But no. Because you talked about the Skyliner crawl, and my wife and I, we did an episode where we were talking about, hey, we got some suggestions online for our trip coming up in February, and come to find out, she's doing a girls' trip in January for one of her good girlfriend's birthday coming up in January, just her. And I've already got our Disney travel agent quoting this and that, and I'm kind of annoyed because, I can't go, whatever. But long story short, the monorail bar crawl. Tell me, because that's what I plan to do. Can you give me a little bit of information about that?
Absolutely. We had a great, with that Disney Day Drinkers Club that I was telling you about earlier. We did in March. They did two, one in March, one in July. The cool thing is we started actually at the Wilderness Lodge at the Geysers Point restaurant. I don't know if you've been at the Geysers Point bar. It is fantastic. It's an outdoor bar at Wilderness Lodge. It's right on the water, so you're looking at the water. And the food's great, the beer's great, the drinks are great. So then we started there, and then we boated over to the monorail station at Magic Kingdom, and then hit all the resorts. And there's like 2 or 3 bars at each resort. So at the Polynesian, we were inside at the Tambu Lounge, outside at the Tiki Bar outside. So you can hit 2 or 3 spots in every hotel. So it's an adventurous crawl. If you hit them all, there's a lot of places. So really great drinks other than beer that I had. If you're in the Steakhouse 71 bar in the Contemporary, they have a bourbon coffee cold brew that is out of this world. It is so good. It's so good. I would drive over there right now just to get one of them. They're so good.
Wow.
If you like coffee and you like a little bourbon, it's so good. And then the best old fashioned, I think, on property is at the Enchanted Rose at the Grand Floridian. They have the Enchanted Rose bar there. I don't know if you've been in there. They have a specialty old fashioned there that it's fantastic. It's smoked old fashioned. It's so good. It's probably the best one I've had on property. Yeah. So in Grand Floridian, you can hit 2 or 3 spots. And then I'm not even including like the pool bars. I mean, the crawl is serious. Like there's 4 or 5 places in each hotel you can go to.
Oh my gosh! Because we planned on doing that when we finished the half marathon. I was like, yeah, we'll hit and I was thinking maybe hitting the Lounge of California Grill, Steakhouse 71.
There you go.
In the thing, I know maybe putting our name in it, Trader Sam's or something like that. You got to get that experience, but no.
So what I'm hearing is you got to start early, and we all need to do a boys trip or man's trip.
Yep. You start about noon or 1, and then pace it out over to like the 6 or 7 in the evening, and then whoever wants to stay on board we went back to Geyser Point because we all kind of started there if you were parked there or Ubered there. So we boated back to Geyser Point at the end and just had a nightcap there and went into the evening. So yeah, it's from a noon to 8 o'clock deal. Yeah. The cool thing about it is when they plan these, you can pop in and out if you just want to do a couple hours of it, but it's really fun. Yeah.
So for that, we're going to be staying on property, but for someone that, your annual pass holder, is it hard to get on property? If you just want to do the monorail crawl, you go to Disney Springs, hop on transportation. Is that kind of the way to go about it? Or
when we go, we just drive up to the hotels and say we've got a restaurant or we're meeting a friend at the grill, and they let you in.
Okay. Yep. I wasn't sure how stringent they were because I haven't done that because I've always had the reservation. So yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of people that eat at the restaurants at the hotels. So you just go in and say, I'm going in to eat, and they'll let you in. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. They were a little strict during COVID, but now it's opened back up again.
Oh, okay. It's a little more lax compared.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good for you, Taylor. Man, you've got Well, you forget the family. You know,
But
your thing is
there's
playing.
plenty of places at the Riviera Resort. And we really, on the Skyliner tour, we did the Bar Riva, which is downstairs near the pool. It's inside the building, but it's all open. That's a great little bar. They have a great bourbon breeze drink in there. It's really good. Oh my God. And a good selection of beers.
I feel like I graduated. I feel like I'm like, where's my diploma? Like, I feel like
We've
I've
not
earned some
graduated
kind of.
yet until we do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing is I haven't even hit them all yet. I mean, there's still some hotels and bars I haven't gone to yet because there's so many now. The property is huge and there's so many places. So I have a list. We started a list of all the hotels, so we're going to start hitting all the hotels so we can get all those in.
So what you need to do is, at least intellectual property is mine, because they have the drinks around the world. You check off the countries. You're going to have like 3 or 4 T-shirts. You'll have to line them up. You'll have your itemized list of every resort or every hotel and each restaurant, lounge, bar. This is the Skyliner / monorail. How you kind of, that's like a new word. You're going to mishmash or shoehorn.
Yeah.
But Rick, I do have one last question.
Okay, ready.
Disney Springs.
Yes.
Where in Disney Springs is open to anyone and everyone, and that's tradition. I know, Taylor, you mentioned before that's, you're going to be eating majority of your meals at Disney Springs. So this is your time to shine.
Yeah, this is mine. Yeah.
Well, the great thing now about Disney Springs is it's transformed into this really fun area, and there's so many different things to choose from. My wife likes wine, so there's a wine bar, George. But for me, I love the Polite Pig. They have a great bourbon selection and a great beer selection. There's a little bar outside of the Polite Pig, and they also have good barbecue too. But there's a little bar that kind of sits outside, and they have great bourbon selection and a great beer selection. I love the Polite Pig. I have a buddy that I go over with a lot. He's an Irishman, so we hit Raglan Road a lot and just have a good time. And there's also on the side of Raglan Road, there's the Hole in the Wall bar. I don't know if you've ever seen that. No. So you don't need reservations. Yeah. So if you're looking at Raglan Road, if you go over to the right, there's a little bar on the side of the building called the Hole in the Wall bar. And it's just open to the public. You don't have to have reservations, and you can always go up there and get a drink. It's a great spot. Yeah.
I'm telling you, a weekend or like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday trip. I mean,
if you want to organize it with your listeners, I'm happy to create a schedule for us.
We're going to put a we're doing it.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi can lead the expedition right here.
We'll set up the montage. I'll have my you'll have your Bud Light. I'll have my Coors Light, and you'll look at us and go, no. You'll hand us the Kungaloosh. You'll hand us.
Hey, I'm not. What everybody likes is what everybody likes. I'm not picky. I mean, I know what I like, and I'm just happy to be with people who are enjoying it. So it's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Well, I know that I am in a much better position now. I'm so much more knowledgeable. I feel like I'm an absolute. I'm an armchair quarterback, but I know that I'm so much more well-versed based on, and that's just, I guarantee. And I feel like now, because, we're all friends now, that I can say in regards to your knowledge, that is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, 100%. For sure. There's so much going on down there. Like I said, I haven't even hit it all yet. So, and I'm trying hard.
Wow. You could write a book easy.
That would take too much time. I just want to, drink beer and post pictures. So.
Exactly. So there you go. It's your online. You already done it. It's whatever you make of it.
Right.
But no.
Right.
But Rick, aka Walt Disney World beer guy. Yet again, we're not worthy. You are the king. We're not worthy. Our Alice Cooper moment. We are not worthy. I'm telling you. I had expectations. But my thing is, I'm here to learn. I do talk a lot. I get that. But that being the case, wow. Thank you so much for joining us. That was
Thank you.
I look forward
Wow.
to us all having a drink together sometime. That'd be
Well,
awesome.
that's going to happen because
Yes, sir.
we've put it out in the universe, and we've
It's gonna
officially
happen.
it's going to be on the internet. That's right. It's going to happen. It's on the internet, and so this is forever. You can't, whatever you put on the internet, you can't take it away. It's
That's right.
it's there. So but yeah. So for me, I'm Disney Dude Abbott, and
Disney Dude Taylor.
this is Walt Disney World Beer Guy.
Cheers.
That's right. Kungaloosh. I don't have one. I finished on my beer, but I know what I'm doing right after the
Good
episode.
job.
Yes. All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Sure.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you.
guys. Appreciate it. A lot of fun.